This video is to help us with solving right triangles for angle measures. So there's two different types of problems that we want to look at. First, if I have all three sides and I want to know what both angles are, or more specifically, I want to find the measure of angle G. If I'm trying to find the measure of this angle in particular, I have a lot of different ways that I can do this. I have all three sides of my right triangle. So I technically have the pick of any of our three trig functions. I can find the sine of that angle and use the inverse, because the sine of angle G is going to be equal to the opposite, 11, over the hypotenuse, 61. I could do the cosine of angle G. That's going to be the adjacent, 60 over 61. Or I could find the tangent of angle G. That's going to be the opposite divided by the adjacent. And if you use your graphing calculator, or you use your calculator accurately, you will see all three of these will give us the same angle. Let's go ahead and take a look at that first. Make sure you are in degree mode. So I switch mine over to degree mode, quit that screen, get back to the home screen. When I am trying to find the angle measure, so the variable or the thing I don't know is the angle, that's when I use my inverse trig functions. So second sine for my sine inverse of 11 over 61. 10.38, we're going to round to the nearest degree. That's going to give me that the measure of angle G, we'll say, is approximately 10 degrees. That's if I use the inverse sine. But what we'll see is second cosine, so inverse cosine, but this time my ratio is 60 to 61. 60 divided by 61, same exact answer. And second tangent, use your new ratio, 11 over 60. Exact same answer. So we technically have three different ways to find the measure of angle G if I know three sides of a right triangle, and that is the inverse trig functions. Now, these next two problems are essentially just the same thing. I'm asking us to take a look and find x, but there's only one trig function I can use now because I don't have all three sides. I could use the Pythagorean theorem to find my third side, but I don't need to because I only need to find this in one way. And if that's my reference angle, 8 represents the opposite side, 11 represents the hypotenuse, so that's the sine function. The sine of x is equal to 8 over 11. Inverse trig functions, because if I take the inverse of this, those cancel. That means I have to take the inverse of this. That's what I'm typing into my calculator. X is going to get me, oops, not the y equals, but second sine, because I'm doing the inverse sine function of 8 over 11. 46.6, round to the nearest degree, is going to get me approximately 47 degrees. So we'll make that an approximate. And then if my reference angle here, y, this is again the opposite, but this time I am going to use 5, which is my adjacent side, so I'm going to take the tangent of y and set that equal to 18 over 5. This is a tangent inverse on both sides, giving me y to be approximately second tangent, 18 over 5. 74.4 is approximately 74, a little bit clearer, degrees.